Who wants to start with JT? We'll start with John on the left side.
Thanks, JT. I wonder, going back to Marlins spring training 2018 when Gallen got traded over there, did you catch him at all, and what memories do you have of him from that time?
I actually did not. I never got to catch him. I'd heard about him through the system. Obviously a lot of Marlins brass were talking about him. They were excited about him. So I followed his career kind of throughout the minor leagues, but I never actually I never even got to watch him throw a bullpen, but, heard great things about him, and obviously, he's lived up to everything they said.
Over here on the right.
Hey, JT. You guys have had a lot of success in playoff series that have started on the road the last 2 years. I wonder if there's anything different mentality-wise about being able to start a series at home.
I don't think it necessarily changes our mentality at all. It is nice, though, to be able to start at home and be able to feel this crowd from game one. And, we've done a good job, I believe, in every series of starting off on the right foot and winning game one, and that's such an important piece of every series. So being able to have our home crowd behind us for the first couple games, and have Wheels and Knowles going on the mound for us as well, that's definitely something you look forward to, and it hopefully it gives us an advantage.
Jesse, back row on the right side.
Yesterday, your manager was in here talking about how you guys kind of cracked down on the opponent's running game in recent times, maybe a month ago or so. Can you take us through that inside that process a little bit? How that all developed, cracking down on it?
I think just being a little more diligent and honestly just paying more attention. Throughout most of the season, we didn't do enough as far as changing up our times, being a little faster to the plate, being able to back pick guys, stuff like that to slow down the running game. And then it was kind of costing us some games there in September. So finally we paid a little more attention. We made some adjustments. Our pitchers were out there working on it, before batting practice, stuff like that. And against a team like this in Arizona, obviously that's going to be really important because they have a lot of guys that can steal bases. So one, we're going to try to keep them off the bases, but then when they do get on, we're going to have to really pay attention to them. Some extra picks, some back picks, changing up our times, because that's what they do well. That's one of the things they do really well, so we're going to have to combat that.
Bob, left side on the aisle.
Hey, JT, from the WBC, having been around Merill Kelly for 2 weeks, you guys knowing him, you caught him. Any advantage there?
I actually I think I only caught him maybe one inning in the WBC. Will caught him his other starter too. So I wouldn't necessarily say there's an advantage. I did get to see his stuff and kind of have a couple conversations with how he likes to work and how he likes to attack hitters. But that was 6 months ago, so who knows if anything's changed there. But getting to know Merill, he's a competitor, so it's going to be fun to go out there and compete against him. He's a guy who's going to pound the strike zone, so we know that, and we're going to have to, be ready for it.
Got John, and then to Todd.
JT, it's been 2 months since Trey got that ovation, and it really changed his season, obviously. We know how well he's played since then. As a teammate, when you saw that and felt that, what was that experience like for you?
It was special. I've said it before that as a team, none of us like to see anybody on the team struggle, especially somebody of that stature with that much pressure. He comes in with a huge contract, similar to what we saw with Nick coming in. It's tough as a teammate to watch one of your guys go through that. So it honestly, it has an effect on the whole team. When one person's getting booed, it feels like we're all getting booed out there. So to see the team jump behind, the fans get behind him and give him that show of support, and then him come through and be successful almost immediately from that point, that was just like a weight lifted off the entire team's shoulders, and I think it showed on the field. We played much better. We played more free. Trey especially, he was just a completely different player after that. So it was definitely a pivotal moment in our season, and it was special to be a part of and get to watch it.
Todd?
JT, as somebody who has played some first base, I was wondering what your reaction was to the news when Bryce said, I'm going to try to learn to play a position I've never played before at the big league level. And then B, what have you thought about how far he's come and how well he has played?
Initially I thought if anybody can do it, it's Bryce. He's a really good athlete. He's a baseball player first and foremost. He's not just got to throw him in one position and make him play that spot. He's an athlete, and he can really learn on the fly. And as somebody who went through the process, like, learning first base is not easy by any means, but it's a position where with reps and with timing, you get a little more comfortable fairly quickly. I think, and he did a really good job of that. I think he's made tremendous strides. He's done a really good job over there. He's filled the position well. I feel like he gives us confidence. Obviously, we want to keep his bat in the lineup, and him stepping in and playing a good first base has been huge for our lineup.
You can do on the aisle here, on the left side.
Hi, JT. At every level of the postseason, the competition gets stiffer, the pressure gets ramped up. What is your mental process for handling things at every level? And then is there a joint process that is happening within the team itself?
Yeah, I think for the most part, we just have to take it one game at a time. Every game at this point in the season is huge for us, and they all matter so much. So you really just have to step up the intensity and the focus a little bit every day. And for us, really, that started back in September, even before the postseason. Every game for us mattered, because if we have a bad week, our season's over and we don't get to where we want to go. We don't make it to the postseason. So we've kind of been going through that grind for a while now, which when we step into the postseason, it's almost like second nature for us. It's like, hey, these games matter a lot. This is very important. So we just lay it all out there and we go out there and compete. There's really not a different focus or mentality for us, because we've had to go through it since the beginning of September, where every game has mattered, because we're fighting for one goal.
Second row on the left.
JT, Zack obviously had a pretty nice career with the Mets. You faced him a lot with the Marlins, had a lot of success against him. But have you seen what's kind of been the difference since he got here that's made him kind of one of the now elite pitchers in baseball, top of the rotation guy? Who have you seen? Do you want to tell what the difference has been from the New York to here?
Yeah, for me, it's been his ability to command the strike zone. He's just so consistent. Because I remember back when he was with the Mets and I would face him, it was every now and then, he'd get a little wild. He'd walk some guys. He'd get himself in trouble with a couple walks, and then, bloop singles, a couple runs. Whereas to now, it feels like he really makes the opposing lineup beat him. Like, he's going to attack you inside the strike zone. I think his off speed's gotten better. I think his slider's better. He's able to use both fastballs, the two-seam and four-seam, whereas before I think he was using a little more of one predominantly. So as a right-handed hitter, you could just look for that one fastball. Now it's almost, he's throwing you two different fastballs, both at 96 to 98 miles an hour, where they're moving completely opposite directions. So it's just so hard to find the barrel. And for me, that's one of the biggest differences, just his ability to absolutely attack the strike zone with every pitch he throws, and there's no fear in him. Like, he's not scared of any hitter. He's going to make you beat him in the strike zone, and when you have stuff as good as he does, you're going to be successful with that.
Over here on the right side.
Hey, JT. You guys, I think the 6 starters so far this postseason have an ERA of 1.5. There's only been 4 walks from those 3 guys. How important has that command been, and what have you seen from those 3 starters so far of raising their level when it comes time to command in these big at-bats?
Yeah, in my opinion, that's everything in the postseason, is not giving away free bases. Every lineup we're going to face here is going to be really good. Every hitter is going to be focused and locked in. So you're just giving the offense a little bit of momentum every time you give them a free pass, and instead of making them earn it. And what we've said all year long with our pitching staff is we really like our stuff. We think we have some of the best stuff in the league from top to bottom. So why not throw the ball in the strike zone? Why not just attack the hitters, make them hit it? Every now and then you're going to give up an 0-0 hit because you're being aggressive and you're throwing the ball in the strike zone. But more often than not, even if they're swinging 0-0, they're ambushing, you're going to get them out, which creates just early contact and early outs. And that's something that Caleb's preached, since spring training, and really all of our pitchers have bought into it. And that shows here in the postseason. Like you said, our starters are just absolutely attacking the strike zone, not scared of contact, going right at guys. And that's why they're able to be more successful and pitch deep into games.
Take 2 more. Paul in the middle, all the way to the left.
In addition to the running game, are there any special challenges that the Diamondbacks present that maybe the Marlins and the Braves didn't?
I would say they're playing a lot like us right now. They're hot. That's what the postseason is all about. Is you get in a rhythm, you get confidence, you get momentum, and that's something that they've really played with this postseason. Their lineup's really deep. They have really good right-handed hitters. They have really good left-handed hitters. They hit for power. They hit for average. They walk. They'll take their walks, and then when they do take their walks, most of them are stealing bases. So it's definitely a challenging lineup to navigate through. But the most daunting thing about them right now is how much confidence they're playing with.
We'll finish up over here in the front.
I just wanted to ask about, what your journey has been like here in Philadelphia. The team did make the playoffs for more than a decade, and then last year you make it all the way to the World Series. You're 4 games away. I guess, what's it like been watching the team, blossom and develop over the years, and if you've been kind of reflecting on, your first years with the ball club?
Yeah, I think, obviously ever since I've been here in 2019, every season we come in and we have high expectations. Those first few seasons didn't pan out. We just didn't play well enough. We didn't make the postseason. Last year we started off really slow, so it kind of felt like, oh man, we're going through the same thing again. We're not going to live up to our expectations. The whole city's going to be disappointed at us. And then, we get hot second half. We have that run in the postseason, and I think that run just really gave this group the confidence of, hey, we are who we think we are. We're as good as we thought we were. And now this season, we just kind of played with that confidence all season long. Obviously, we started off a little slow, but even when we weren't playing well early in the season, we had the feeling like, hey, guys, we're going to turn this around. We're going to get back to where we want to go. And now we just have to take that next step this postseason and continue to play with confidence and, get a couple more wins than we did last year in the postseason. And if we do that, goal's accomplished.